Hello, world. Frida Reba Darcy, a very excited Frida Reba Darcy and Patricia O'Connor here today on the Bonsai balcony. We have so much. We have so much here. We have so much to be thankful for. We have so much to enjoy. I'm kind of just I walked through here a few minutes ago and just kind of took a general look at the health of the balcony, the health of the trees, the overall look of what's going on here and what I have And I'm pretty happy. I mean, I'm very happy. I'm ecstatic, I would say. Just to look up and see these beautiful colors is a real joy. But you could even see that butt coming a mile away probably. This has been a year. If you were to say to me out of the blue, Patricia, what kind of year are you having? And without putting a whole lot of thought into it, if I were just doing something and I just tossed out an answer, I'd go, fine. Yeah, no, things are going good. Meaning I'm making it to work okay. I like my job okay. I like where I live okay. I like my neighbors okay. I love my dog. I love my trees. So I can just check all the boxes and go fine. But this year, oh my God, this year. And again, I would look back on that and say your attitude has been pretty much good the whole time. But I had shingles. Instead of enjoying my 65th birthday, I had a bout of shingles for a month that just took me out during that month. I also had a thing in spring that may or may not have been related to that, where I was having vertigo and nausea and stuff. I lost a few days' work over that. So, aside from those little health kicks and the financials that go with them, we've been fine and doing pretty good. But, you got to look back at that and go, well, that wasn't the most fun. Agreed. But I've been happy, and Frida's doing well, and Frida's been happy. So what I'm getting at is, on the whole, I am in an energy positive state. Despite our little knockarounds this year, I would say that Patricia and Frida are in an energy positive state, and we're happy. On a bonsai scale, I'll look back at what I see in our balcony, and I see all these beautiful colors right now, the lush greens of the oaks and the pines against the bright oranges and yellows that are coming out in these bald cypresses. And I look to a tree. Everybody is doing pretty much what they are supposed to be doing this time of year. And everybody, to some extent, I'm really happy with the development of everybody that I see here. I've also got to look at the fact that I've reduced my stock when it comes to my smallest trees by probably over a third in the last 2 years. Before I go to work every day, I'll put on some of our videos so that Frida can sit on the couch and watch our videos while I'm going to work. And sometimes I come in and she's in exactly the same spot as where I left her. I don't really know if she's just hanging out that whole time watching Frida and Pat cartoons. She's also kind of crafty, she might have a life I don't even know about once I go to work, but I digress. But when I was putting on these videos, I came in the other day from work and they were playing, and I was watching me sit down at a table full of little mame bonsais, and I was looking at that. I was watching that video and I was going, yeah, nope, I kind of agree with what I'm putting out there. I think this material is dating well, And then I did a count. Let's see. Oh yeah, that tree's gone. This was one of 6 trees that were in that video, and I think it might be the one of 6 that I still have. And all the rest of them were nicely twisted, and most of them had names. and most of them are gone. And I started thinking about that. I mean, that happened over 2 years. No, scratch that. That happened, yeah, it happened over 2 seasons. So, a year ago, this time last year, I was sad about losing some trees from October. And I was just still losing trees from the heat spell in October. They don't all die in a week. They sometimes just don't look good after that. And they're already gone. They're just expending whatever resources were still in the bark or in the, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I've lost a lot of trees, and I've had my issues with my own personal self. Well, I haven't really felt like I've lost any momentum, though. I don't really feel like I've lost any of my enjoyment for bonsai. I think our balcony is still impressive. I notice our numbers. I noticed those little trees. They had the tree that I bought at the bonsai, the first ever bonsai expo from Eric. I lost that tree. My $50 challenge tree, I lost that guy. We also, not even related to that, lost Sweet Pea or Simply Pea, and that was the tree that had been part of our collection for quite some time. So we've taken our hits this year, and whenever I think about it, though, I have to think about it this way. First of all, I look at the trees that I lost and I go, what do they all have in common? Because I have the most pine trees. Most of the trees that I lost were pine trees. Most of them were Japanese black pines. Most of them were Mame, although Sweet Pea definitely wasn't. I also lost a couple of Ponderosas, and those were Mame or Shohin. And I could look back and go, did you overwork them? You probably pushed your luck and overworked them. I often say times whenever we put cause and effect to trees, I question how accurate that is most of the time. You know, I'm going on things are mostly true, sometimes true, hardly ever true, never true, you know, instead of just saying something is 100% this or that. But a lot of times we think, well, we had a heat spell, but what we say is one thing is quite often three things. It was that and two other things, you know. But when I look at, for instance, those 6 trees that I saw in a video, and I looked and I went, out of those little 6 trees, I still have 1. They're a mixed lot. Some of them I had repotted that year, and some of them I had repotted that year and also did bud selection, which I've learned since is kind of a no, but not all of them. That would only account for maybe 2 out of the 5. And out of that, 2 of them had been on hiatus since the year before. I had done really nothing to them except clean up dead needles, and they were not underpotted. They had, we can't really look at ourselves and see that we had broken any major rules, and that led to their loss. We just had an uncommonly hot October, and we lost trees for the next 2 months over it. And what I mean by that is, on that day, you can look on the balcony and see that everybody color looks a little off on some of the trees, and some of them don't really look affected. These guys, as long as they get watered and don't wilt, they love hot weather. Same with the oaks, right? But sometimes something can be perfectly hydrated and still just not like the temperatures, like the dawn redwood. It looked really wilted after high heat and stuff. And you look at a bunch of pine trees and you see some of them that look like the tips of the leaves, you see burn on them from the day, and you think, yeah, we're going to be seeing that, and that's going to get worse, and then hopefully it'll get better. Sometimes true, sometimes not. That marked the beginning of the end for some of those trees, and over the next week we lost some, and over the next month we lost some. So when to do bonsai is also to lose bonsai. And I've done a cause and effect analysis of some of the trees that I've lost. And I'm just meaning that I'm just really thinking about it individually to a tree and go, yeah, hold it. You didn't do anything to that tree that year except not get it out of town before we had a major heat spell. So that's just kind of what bonsai is like. And I gotta say, to a little bit, I've been in recovery mode this year, especially for the like this is December, and I'm still not quite 100% from August. That's just uncanny, you know. So, but on the other hand, I do kind of burn the candle at both ends. And that is something that happens to people that are my age. We don't bounce back quite as fast, but I'm still doing stuff just as much. And kind of, if I don't feel like I'm bouncing back quite as fast, I don't really know that my production schedule is changing. And I don't know that I'm talking any slower. We still go a mile a minute here on our balcony. So this spring, or this winter coming up, we're going to start repotting some of these guys, putting them in larger pots. And I'm pointing at our stock of pines. So with our adversities this year, we've still had our guys that are hanging with us and hanging tough. We've still got trees that are what I consider to be our successes. And among them are some ponderosas and some Japanese black pines. And we've got a lot of these guys here that we can go through and start shaping and putting in bonsai pots. And we still have the majority of our work that we've done, the majority of the work that we've done with our smallest, our mames, and we still have our victories there. Just we've had our losses. And those are to be expected. Nobody gets to escape that part of it. So yeah, that's kind of I don't, on the whole, I would say that today is a pretty positive day and I'm in a pretty positive mood. But I was just thinking the other day, when I saw that video about those losses, I thought that should be our next show. And I'm not really coming from a place personally where I'm feeling down at the moment or then when I decided to do that show. But it just decided that manifested into now. And, I have known that I had some of my Japanese cohorts or some of my co-parts in Japan are saying that they've never seen so many losses as what they've had in the last 2 years overheat. So, and I've kind of noticed that some of the pattern rain-wise that is coming across and socking me here on the left coast is some of the same stuff that probably originated over there and then hit Hawaii on its way here. So that's just kind of what's going on weather-wise, and that's what's going on tree-wise, and that's how that's affected us. And now here's what's going on another front. On another front entirely, our numbers of Japanese black pines are high. We have a lot of Japanese black pines and we have a lot of stock to carry us to the future. I have a over 100-year-old Ponderosa Yamadori here that's currently sporting one Japanese black pine grafts, and we'll make arrangements as to what we want to do about that. If we just want to carry that one and let it go, or if we want to put some more on there. I would want them to be the same stock as the one that's on there now, so that kind of locks me into whether or not I can coordinate with that bonsai master, that bonsai grower, or not. Meanwhile, that I think is a stunning looking tree, and we had some heat damage from it, and we also had some aphids, but we kicked their butts, and the tree seems to be doing fine, and the graft on it that we have been noticing is doing really well. Also, there's our oaks. Both of our oaks are really happy, and I have When it comes to losses, money does and doesn't play into it. I bought some trees on auction, and they had shipping problems. I probably paid real money for a couple of those show hen trees that were dead within a month, and that is usually a typical example where if you have that species thriving and then you get one and a month later it's dead, it probably didn't survive shipping. So we had losses for trees that we just didn't even have time to get to know this year too. And that was also kind of a financial ouch. Really, I shelled out because I thought that was cool. And then that's what happens. But it's never about the money. It's never about the money. Some of the things that I really am sad that I've lost, and you create something, you create a little work of art, but it's also a living work of art. And so, you want it to live. Death is a loss in that. And so it's not about how much money you lose. I have real money in that by anybody's standards. I have real money in that by anybody's standards. But it was never about that. If I lost this tree and this tree, which I'm pointing to one that's called Peanut, that I probably have, pot included, I probably have maybe $20 time and money invested in this little tree right here. But if I lost this tree and this tree, I would be equally sad. So it's not about financial, nor am I planning on selling any of these trees for a profit. I'm not one to say that this is a profitable game if you're a collector. If you're a collector, you probably are, maybe you're a good trader. There are good traders and there are bad traders. There are people who just trade sideways to get what they want, and it's not about. And then there are people who keep score. That's baseball cards, bonsai trees, rocks, anything that anybody collects. What we're into is making memories. I've got the time that we spend on this tree is not in the memories that I take with me forever, because I'm not going to be here forever, but hopefully it'll show on the tree, and hopefully the tree will go on after I'm gone, no matter how long I go. So that's kind of that. Also, other things to be happy about. I'm really happy with the development of these ball cypress. It's really hard to do this wrong when it comes to a heat and temperature thing. Our climate would have to get some kind of whack before these guys are not going to like it. As long as I can supply the water, they're going to be pretty much happy here, unless the lights go out. I don't think they would get enough light here from that. The later in the year we go, the farther out the sun goes that way, and the farther in it reaches. But that's oranger and oranger and oranger light as the year persists. So that light doesn't typically, produce as much growth. It also tells the trees to do other things rather than make spring growth. We are at currently about 980 some odd subscribers. So we've had our moments. We were rolling in to about 950 at the beginning of the summer, and then with those things that I've mentioned, we have just watched our growth stagnate, and that's totally on me. Whereas I haven't had as much material to gloat over, I have also had a slight kick in the gut over some of the things that I've lost, and that has affected me creatively. Just kind of mumbled through that. If not just spiritually. In other words, I'm still in it to win it, but golly, some days I feel more creative than others. That's just kind of the nature of the process. So yeah, we're like it or not, we're probably about to hit 1,000 subscribers here in a minute, and I'm not gonna lie, after a couple of years, it was never about that. I never really did any one thing that I thought would boost our numbers or our subscription rates. It was always about It was always about the kind of work that I felt like doing if I thought it was showable, and that's kind of where our motivation lies. Yeah, we have a lot to be happy about, and I'm carrying over a pretty good attitude on a year that hasn't always delivered. But that's okay. We got you, year. We got you. Like and subscribe if you guys have not already. I will do a show tonight. We're planning to do Saturday Night Live Bonsai, and I am excited about those prospects. I will bring in the Trident Maple. Who called the Popo? I will bring in the Trident Maple, and we will do a unveiling of what's underneath that black plastic baggie. I'll tell you what's underneath there that I know. There is a lot of moss packed around a air layer that is then been packed with shrink wrap. I did a peek about 2 months ago, and with all the shrink wrap, I didn't really see anything. I also put it back going, I don't think that's definitive. I don't know that I would have seen anything if it would have been anything. So I kind of cheated, but didn't see anything 2 months ago. And now we're going to take all of this back and see what's going on. And we will probably redress it, repack it, and wrap it back. That would be my guess. I don't see me doing anything other than that, no matter what we see. So, yeah, I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. And onward and upward. 2024, well, I don't know. I'm going to just go ahead and say this. This isn't Bonsai, but whenever Patricia came out as transgender in 2015, I said, you will never in a million years pass. No one will ever, you will never ever have that to be concerned with. But what we're going to do is shoot for happy. And I'm going to say it again, to that end, I have been largely successful. It is too late for my life not to have been a happy success. But as a transgender woman with no place to hide, I would say the next couple of years are going to be touch and go. I don't think that'll affect our bonsai schedule. I don't think that'll affect my trees because I'm not gonna let it. But when I say I appreciate you, that's where I'm coming from. I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. And thank you so much for watching.